everyone. This is Mrs. Robinson again. We are getting ready to read the second section of Beowulf, which is entitled Beowulf. The first one was called Grendel. This one is called Beowulf. Here we go. So the living sorrow of Halfdane's son simmered, bitter and fresh, and no wisdom or strength could break it. That agony hung on king and people alike, harsh and unending, violent and cruel and evil. In his far-off home, Beowulf, Hygelac's follower and the strongest of the Geats, greater and stronger than anyone anywhere in this world, heard how Grendel filled knights with horror and quickly commanded a boat fitted out, proclaiming that he'd go to that famous king, would sail across the sea to Hrothgar, now when help was needed. None of the wise ones regretted his going much, as he was loved by the Geats. The omens were good, and they urged the adventure on. So Beowulf chose the mightiest men he could find, the bravest and best of the Geats, 14 in all, and led them down to their boat. He knew the sea would prow straight to that distant Danish shore. And this is a note from the editor. Beowulf and his men sail over the sea to the land of the Danes to offer help to Hrothgar. They are escorted by a Danish guard to Heorot, where Wulfgar, one of Hrothgar's soldiers, tells the king of their arrival. Hrothgar is ready to welcome the young prince and his men. Then Wulfgar went to the door and addressed the waiting seafarers with soldiers' words. My lord, the great king of the Danes, commands me to tell you that he knows of your noble birth, and that having come to him from over the open sea, you have come bravely, and you are welcome. Now go to him as you are, in your armor and helmets, but leave your battle shields here and your spears. Let them lie waiting for the promises your words may make. Beowulf arose with his men around him, ordering a few to remain with their weapons, leading the others quickly along under Heorot's steep roof into Hrothgar's presence. Standing on that prince's own hearth, helmeted, the silvery metal of his mail shirt gleaming with a smith's high art, he greeted the Danes' great lord. Hail, Hrothgar! Hygelac is my cousin and my king. The days of my youth have been filled with glory. Now Grendel's name has echoed in our land. Sailors have brought us stories of Heorot, the best of all mead halls, deserted and useless when the moon hangs in skies the sun had lit, light and life fleeing together. My people have said the wisest, most knowing, and best of them that my duty was to go to the Danes' great king. They have seen my strength for themselves, have watched me rise from the darkness of war, dripping with my enemy's blood. I drove 5 great giants into chains, chased all of that race from the earth. I swam out in blackness of night, hunting monsters out of the ocean and killing them one by one. Death was my errand, and the fate they had earned. Now Grendel and I are called together, and I've come. Grant me then, Lord and protector of this noble place, a single request. I have come so far, O shelterer of warriors and your people's loved friend, that this one favor you should not refuse me. That I, along with the help of my men, may purge all evil from this hall. I have heard, too, that the monster's scorn of men is so great that he needs no weapons and fears none. Nor will I. My lord Hygelac might think less of me if I let my sword go where my feet were afraid to. If I hid behind some broad linden shield, my hands alone shall fight for me, struggle for life against the monster. God must decide who will be given death's cold grip. Grendel's plan, I think, will be what it has been before, to invade this hall and gorge his belly with our bodies. If he can. And I think if my time will have come, there will be nothing to mourn over, no corpse to prepare for its grave. Grendel will carry our bloody flesh to the moors, crunch on our bones, and smear torn scraps of our skin on the walls of his den. No, I expect no Danes will fret about sewing our shrouds if he wins. And if death does take me, send the hammered mail of my armor to Hygelac. Return the inheritance I had from Hrethel, and he from Wayland. Fate will unwind as it must. Hrothgar replied, protector of the Danes. Beowulf, you've come to us in friendship, and because of the reception your father found at our court, Ecgtheow had a bitter feud. King Hathlaf, a wealthy warrior. Your father's countrymen were afraid of war. If he returned to his home and they turned him away, then he traveled across the curving waves to the land of the Danes. I was new to the throne. Then a young man ruling this wide kingdom and its golden city. Hergar, my older brother, a far better man than I, had died, and dying made me second among Halfdane's sons, first in this nation. I bought the end of Ecgtheow's quarrel, sent ancient treasures through the ocean's furrows to the Wolfings. Your father swore he'd keep that peace. My tongue grows heavy, and my heart, when I try to tell you that Grendel has brought us the damage he's done here in this hall. You see for yourself how much smaller our ranks have become, and can guess what we've lost to this terror. Surely the Lord Almighty could stop this madness, smother this lust. How many times have my men, glowing with courage, drawn from too many cups of ale, sworn to stay after dark and stem that horror with the sweep of their swords? And then in the morning, this mead hall, glittering with new light, would be drenched with blood, the benches stained red, the floors all wet from that fiend's savage assault. And my warriors would be fewer, still death taking more and more. But to table, Beowulf, a banquet in your honor. Let us toast your victories and talk of the future. Then Hrothgar's men gave places to the Geats, yielded benches to the brave visitors, and led them to the feast. The keeper of the mead came carrying out the carved flasks and poured that bright sweetness. A poet sang from time to time in a clear, pure voice. Danes visiting Geats celebrated as one, drank and rejoiced.